The Little Green Frog. Chapter 5. Fun in the Kitchen. Biddy talked cheerfully to Aunt Hannah at tea time that day. "Did you have a good day, Aunt Hannah?" she asked. "The usual, Bridget," she answered. "Were people glad to hear about Jesus, or did they get mad at you?" Aunt Hannah looked surprised. "Bridget, you must remember that you aren't in China. We don't go into people's houses talking about religion here. Your father and mother are missionaries, and it is their work to do that sort of thing. Would you like some of this sponge cake? Maria made it especially for you." "Really? That was nice of her." "And what did you do this morning?" asked Aunt Hannah. "Well, first I went to God's garden, and a man there said I could visit his wife. So I did, and she gave me cookies and milk. She said I could go and see her again. Then I met a heathen." "A heathen? What are you talking about?" "Well, he said he didn't know about the Bible or about God, so he's a heathen. That's what my father said. Anyway, I'm going to teach him." "I suppose you mean Jock, from the farm up the road." "You two should just play and not talk about such things as religion." "But Jock doesn't even know that God loves him. Everyone should know that." When she thought about Jock, she thought about fighting giants, and then she remembered her muddy shoes. She wondered if Maria had told Aunt Hannah about the accident yet. "I must fight giant fear," she thought. But that wasn't easy. Aunt Hannah might punish her. She didn't look very kind, but finally she said very softly, "Aunt Hannah, I have something to tell you." Aunt Hannah didn't encourage her to say more. She just looked at her and waited. "I didn't mean to. It looked like dry ground, but it was all sticky." "Tell me plainly what you did, Bridget," Aunt Hannah said. "It was down by the pond. I thought a duck was drowning, and I ran to see if I could help him, and my feet went down in the mud. I guess I ruined my shoes. Maria washed them off." When Aunt Hannah did not say anything, Biddy asked, "Are you very angry?" "No," said Aunt Hannah. "I won't be angry with you unless you are disobedient or if you don't tell the truth. I hope you will be more careful, though. It's all right if you play outside with Jock. Now, finish your tea and don't talk any more." "Thank you," Biddy said, very glad she would not be punished. Next morning, when breakfast was over, Biddy was just going to get her coat and go out when Aunt Hannah stopped her. "It's raining, Bridget. Sit down and play quietly with your doll. I have letters to write and cannot be disturbed." Biddy sighed. She didn't much like playing inside. First she played with Froggy, pretending that they were back in China and that Amma was telling the story of how Froggy came to be hers. But that made her homesick for China, and the quiet room seemed even quieter without Amma to talk to. So she played with her doll, putting her to bed on the sofa, pretending that Dolly was sick and she was the nurse. Then she counted raindrops for a while. She thought it would be fun to go out and wade in the puddles. After all, Aunt Hannah didn't really say she couldn't go out. "I'll go upstairs and get my coat. I could borrow Aunt Hannah's big umbrella," she thought. But inside a little voice kept whispering, "You know you shouldn't do it. You should fight giant disobedience." So Biddy asked Jesus to help her be happy inside. Just then the door opened and Maria peeked in. "There you are. I've been looking for you to come and help me in the kitchen." "What are you doing?" Biddy asked, glad for something to do. "Making pies." Then Biddy was very happy. "I'd be glad to help. We are going to be good friends, aren't we?" "Of course we are. I've got a bit of a temper, but you shouldn't take any notice of that." "Do you fight giant temper?" "Yes, I suppose I do," said Maria, as she tied a big apron around Biddy, "but I don't always win." So Biddy spent the morning rolling out pieces of pastry and covering them with sugar and raisins, and then baking them in the oven. At lunchtime they ate some of the little pies. Aunt Hannah said, "Tomorrow we'll go downtown and buy you a pair of rubber boots. Then when the grass is damp, you can still go out." "Oh, thank you," Biddy said. Then she added, Are you sure you can afford it? Aunt Hannah smiled. Yes, I can afford it. You look nice when you smile, Biddy said. The smile left Aunt Hannah's face. It's rude to make personal remarks, she said. Biddy wondered what personal remarks were, but she finished her lunch without asking. Biddy was very excited about her trip downtown. Everything was new and strange to her. First they bought a raincoat and boots, and then they went to a shop where Biddy had ice cream for the very first time in her life. She was so happy that she skipped down the sidewalk. When they got home, she said, "Thank you, Aunt Hannah. We had a good time, didn't we?" And again, Aunt Hannah smiled.